produce this next fruit, and it's the fruit of righteousness. In Philippians 1, verse 11, it says, being filled with the fruits of righteousness, which are by Jesus Christ, to the glory and praise of God. If you're a Christian, there should be the fruit of what is right in your life. Your life should not be a living contradiction to what you say you believe. It shouldn't be the opposite of what you read in the Bible and what you see in the life of Jesus. It should be overwhelming to you and to the people around you that you have a sense of what is right and you do those things. Remember, in the Bible it says that every tree that does not bring forth good fruit will be cut down and cast into the fire. And so when we share the gospel with people, we not only want them to see the fruit of what is right in our own life, but we want them to become trees who produce good fruit. Because if they simply walk down an aisle, raise their hand, say a prayer, and accept Jesus into their heart, but there's no fruit in their life, they'll be cut down and cast into the fire and revealed as false converts. When I was working on Growing Pains, back in the 1980s and early 90s, Mike Seaver was quite the guy. You know, he usually had 2 dates for the prom, and one after the prom, after we got home from the prom. And he was quite the ladies' man. Guys would have paid big money to be me back in the 1980s. And after I became a Christian, I had some concerns about the script. And there was one scene in one episode where my mother, Maggie, had a dream that her son was at a party and he spent the night at this girl's house, and that he woke up in bed with this strange lady the next morning. And the scene was me kind of rolling over, putting my arm around her and saying, hey babe, what was your name again? And I had a problem with this. As a Christian, I said, guys, this is just going across the line for me. This is just, we've got a family audience that's trusting us. We need to put out a good example here. We do something else. Well, once I took a stand and said that, I suddenly became the religious fanatic. Right? I'm the guy on E! Entertainment who became born again and was the difficult guy who ruined Growing Pains. And a real Christian will have a struggle in the world, because you have something in you that drives you to do what's right, even if it goes against what everybody else is telling you to do. And you can't quiet that voice, because God awakens your conscience, and He's informed you by His Word, and you know it's true, and you want to live for what is right. I also had an opportunity a while back to do a movie, and it was for the Hallmark channel, and they have relatively good programs every once in a while. And this was a movie, and it was a romantic comedy, and I was excited. Man, this is a great story. And they were going to offer me $100,000 to do this movie. I was going, sweet, this is great. And at the very end of the script, there was this romantic scene between my character and his girlfriend. And they had this big romantic kiss at the end of the movie. It wasn't just a little peck, it was a big, juicy smooch. And I was reading this one, it made sense in the story. I could understand that. But I'm a guy who's in love with his wife. I desperately want to protect my wife's heart and reserve these lips for her alone. And her for me. Okay? And so I eventually said to my agents, I couldn't do the part. But before I called them, I called up my friend, Ray Comfort, because I wanted to get some godly counsel before I called my agents and just say, hey, I just want to run this by you, just get any last thoughts before I made the phone call and pulled the trigger. Ray, what do you think I ought to do? And Ray says, wait, it's coming to me. I got it! Plastic lips! Plastic lips! No. He says, Well, what about maybe that you could rent a white horse, and you could ride up on that white horse and tell the girl to jump on the back of the horse, and then you could just ride off into the sunset without kissing her. That's what I said. Right? You can't have plastic lips. And you can't get a horse to come in and, that's just, it's not going to work. And he said, no, Kirk, he says, I admire your decision. And he told me a story about Winston Churchill that really nailed the point for me. But I want you to think about what happened there for just a moment. Let's freeze frame on that moment. Before I was a Christian, I would have finished that script, read the part about the kiss, and said, yes, I'll do this movie for free. This is a great story. This is a great opportunity. And if you think about it, there are thousands of starving actors out there right now that would pay money to be in a movie on television, seen by millions of people, and get to kiss a beautiful girl. And they were offering me $100,000 to do it. Are you kidding? No problem. Before I was a Christian, $100,000, I'd kiss the girl, I'd kiss her horse. Heck, I'd even kiss my Aunt Ruth, who looks like a horse. No problem. But when I became a Christian, I was given a new heart with new desires. And I wanted to do what was right. I love my wife, I love God, I want to honor Him and her and my children and do what's right. And so you will sacrifice and pass things by for the greater treasure of honoring the God that loved me and gave His life for me. So here's the Winston Churchill story. Allegedly there was a dinner party or some sort of an event where he was conversing with this beautiful actress. And he whispered over to her, ma'am, would you go to bed with me for $1 million? And she says, $1 million? Well, I'd sure think about it. Then he said, would you go to bed with me for $1? She looked at him and said, $1? What kind of woman do you think I am? And he said to her, ma'am, we've already established what kind of woman you are. We're simply negotiating the price. God is not impressed if you prostitute yourself for $1 or $1 million. When you're a Christian, you'll make a stand for righteousness. So examine yourself today. Give God a clean cup. Let Him put within you a spring of living water that washes the inside, gives you a hatred for the sin that perhaps you still love and cling to, and expels it from your heart, washing the outside as a result of a clean inside. And He'll produce the fruit of repentance, the fruit of the Spirit, the fruit of good works, thanksgiving, and righteousness. You don't need to fake it. He will make it the real you, fully surrendered to Him and to His will. God bless you as you listen to the rest of the Transform Conference.